I bought a van. This is a medium wheelbase, high top, 2012 VW Crafter, and I'm going to be spending the next several months converting this into a log cabin style camper van. Episode 3 of my camper build series, my log cabin on wheels. As you can already tell, I've had a bit of an upgrade. I've got myself a little microphone. Hello. So hopefully now you'll be able to hear me more. Hear me when I'm facing away from the camera. So thanks for the tip, Demi. Much better. Now that we've got the floor down and we've treated all of the rust and stuff, we need to start insulating the walls and the ceiling, obviously leaving a bit of space in places where I need to do stuff like install a fan, install a window, you know. I also need to patch the hole in the wheel arch with some fiberglass, and before I insulate sound deadening sheets. I didn't realise it was such an issue, but everybody does it. Apparently, these rattle like a tin can if you do not put sound deadening sheets on a lot of these big metal panels. Basically, what they do is they add mass and lower the frequency which they vibrate at, quietening the van. I've only bought a pack of 20 though, because apparently people really overdo it and use it in places they don't need to, like the wheel arches, because they don't vibrate. The noise coming from them is road noise from the wheels, and the only way to stop that is regular insulation. So that's what I'll be doing. They'll only be going on these walls and the doors. That's it. So let's get to it. I'm just going to cut it open. I'm using them all. So this is what they look like. I'm assuming I'll peel that off, and that's the sticky part. So it seems like they have some sort of thermal properties with this foil, but that's not what they're for. So I guess it's as simple as just peeling off this piece on the back and sticking it on here. I suppose it doesn't really matter how straight they are, does it? But I'm going to get them fairly centre. The other side. And then this side. It's only subtle, but I think when all of the big panels are done, it should make a difference on how much the van rattles. For these ones, I may cut one in half and do a half above and below the strut. And as my favourite saying goes, they don't need to be straight because you won't see them when I'm finished. Now I'm unsure on where to put it on the door, because this is probably where I'm going to put a window. Obviously, I could put the window anywhere, but I like the idea of putting it here because if the weather's really bad, I can still sit here with that armchair, the Chesterfield armchair I said I'm going to get, and look out the window. Maybe I'll put them towards the edge so that I cut less off when I put the window in. But again, doesn't really matter. Right, now I know I said I wasn't going to put any on the roof, but I've literally covered every big panel on the walls and doors, and I've got 3 left, and there's like 6 sections, so I might as well use them up. I'll probably cut them in half and put a half on each one. Not going to hurt, is it? And I feel like they'll probably do more than me trying to squeeze them in these really tiny sections that are surrounded by these supports, which literally don't rattle at all. So I've been trying to make sure that I'll give them a bit of a wipe before I stick them on. There we go. So there we are. They're all on the ceiling as well now, or the roof, I should say. And that's plenty. Right, quick one. I did just go against what I said I was not going to do, and I have actually screwed the floor down into the metal in places, basically, because wood warps. Even though the Sikaflex is really strong, in places, now that I've screwed it all together, it's lifted, and I can hear it squeak and move when I walk, and it was really bugging me. So I went to B&Q and got some metal screws, pre-drilled the wood. I then squirted some sealant, some Sikaflex, into the hole before I put the screw in, so that in my head it would force the sealant through the hole as it screwed, so that it should be a nice watertight seal. And it's a lot better now. None of the spots that were moving are now moving, and yeah, I think it'll be all right. So the main area in question was this corner here behind the driver's seat. And yeah, as you can see, that you can see all the sealant, because I pre-drilled it, filled the hole with Sikaflex sealant, and then blasted that metal screw straight through, obviously checking underneath the van beforehand to make sure there's nothing important under there. And now it's rock solid. I've even done this corner, even though that doesn't move. I just feel like, make sure it never does while I'm doing the job. That bit was moving, not anymore. Same as there. These 2 back ones were fine, but again, I thought, while I'm doing it, and since the whole thing is all pretty much one solid unit now, it's all screwed together with the batten underneath. If I get all of the edges screwed into the van, should be pretty solid now. Look what I went to get. I told ya. Oh. And my feet hang off the edge here, look. Oh, this is going to be sick. Now imagine I've got my wood burning stove there, burning away. Got a beer, got some sick music playing, and obviously I've got all this lovely wood cabin, log cabin style decor. And it doesn't actually take up that much space because I didn't get the massive puffy sofa style armchair. There's plenty of room behind for my kitchen unit. See, look. So I'll be able to even rock on it, because I'm not going to have a massive deep kitchen unit. It just needs to be big enough to be able to cook on and have a sink in it. And obviously maybe put a small fridge underneath. Oh, wait, obviously I need a small fridge for beer and food, I guess. That's Jazz. She's moaned she's not in the video, so she's now in the video.
I am, and I do some filming.
And she helped me come get this. So, next little job. This is bugging me. I'm not going to be walking on it like I'm walking on this bit, but it would just look nicer if it was all the same, wouldn't it? Plus, again, I'm going to gain an extra 2 inches of floor space across here, which will give me more space to put the wood burner. So let's do that. Let's see if it fits. Oh, like a glove.
Like a glove.
Now there we go. Not the cleanest cut, but again, this is all going to get covered in some sort of lino flooring, so it just needs to be there or thereabouts, doesn't it? And strong. That's looking better, isn't it? A few little gaps and stuff, but again, as I said, it's going to get lino flooring. This isn't going to be visible at all. It just needs to be strong. The only bad thing about this chair is, look, it gives me another excuse not to get on with the job. It's a lovely day today, blue skies, and I'm just sat here with a coffee, rocking in my rocking chair in my van. Oh no, but I do need it, as in, because it's a very important part to my idea for the build, I need to build around it. Imagine I put all the kitchen in and now the chair I wanted didn't fit. And I know most people would prioritise all of the functional stuff in their van, not a stupid chair, but I'm not one of those people. Sometimes you've just got to do stupid things for fun, despite what everyone else says. So now to actually get on with this job. Fiberglass repair for this. I keep putting it off because it doesn't seem like a very fun job to me. That's why I did that step first, but I need to do it. Let's get on with it now. So I have roughed up the surface as per the instructions. It's saying to remove like paint and everything. I mean, someone's going to tell me I'm doing it wrong, but I can't remove all the paint. I mean, I've literally just painted it to treat the rust. Unless the resin itself does that, you know, obviously the resin that bonds the fiberglass to this. I don't know. I've just roughed it up and it's clean, and I'm going to stick it down, and we'll find out whether it works or not, won't we? So it says to add the resin to the hardener in a ratio of 3 to 100. 3 to 100 in a plastic cup with absolutely no measuring lines on whatsoever. So obviously you know that I am just going to put a bit in and a bit in. A lot in and a little bit. And it'll have to work, won't it? And of course, as I open it with this, it splashes me in the bloody face. So these crappy little plastic gloves that came with the kit, even if I was wearing them, would have been absolutely pointless because it's in my actual face. But okay. So let's just put some in here, I guess. There's some in there. And then I suppose put a bit of this in there, which is the hardener, I'm assuming. Oh, look, there's another thing for me to take off that I'm probably going to get in my face. So that's 100. That's free. There you go, mate. Everyone's going to be going, no, Craig, you've used too much. Probably. Now I've got to cut out a square of the actual fiberglass to go over my hole. The hole in the wheel arch, not my hole. Look at that. It's like it was meant to be. It's like paper mache, really, isn't it? Toxic paper mache. Well, it's changed colour a bit, I think, since I put that stuff together, mixed it together, so. Thing about fumes or whatever. Sometimes it's just about having a go, you know. And if I get this wrong, I've learned something, haven't I? So. People are too scared to just have a go sometimes and then want to pay someone else to do stuff. Just have a go. That's the message today on my video. Don't be scared. Just have a go. Unless it's something like using a chainsaw and you're cutting down a massive tree. Maybe then don't just have a go. Because you might die and destroy your house in the process. So it's just saying extra strength may be added by adding an extra layer. Well, I've just done about 6 layers, so hopefully that's all right then. Now just to let it dry. And what I'll probably do once this is dry, before I paint over it, is I will go around the edge of my patch with more sealant. Just to double make sure, in case I have completely done this wrong, that at least it's watertight around the edge of it. I think at some point I might get underneath the wheel arch, clean it. Obviously, the wheel arch is a bit dirty, but sand it away so I'm down to some clean surface and patch the other side so it's like sandwiched. Let me know in the comments if I should do that or if it's unnecessary. The next little job is the wiring on the inside of the van, which I'm assuming goes to the lights and stuff. Has got this plastic casing on it, which presumably is just to protect it from getting bashed about when it was being used, you know, as a work van or whatever. I don't need it because this is all going to be behind the insulation and my paneling and stuff. So I'm going to get this out of the way. See, look, this one's attached somehow. I'll get it off. So there's some weird kind of nut. Like there's obviously like a regular nut and bolt here, but then there's like some weird like plastic nut that goes on the metal bolt on this side, and none of my sockets seem to fit. Like the 10 was too small and the 12 was too big. I don't have an 11 because it's not on very tight and it's just plastic. I've just been bashing it around with this flathead screwdriver, and I've been getting them off. Like, let's see, look, it's hard to hold the camera and do it at the same time, but you can see it going around. It's a bit of a mess around. Oh, look, it's a bit of a mess around, but it's the only way I'm getting it off. But hey, with a bit of know-how, you can make it work. There's always a way. I've been able to, at some point, start doing it by hand. There we go. There we go. Finally. And these wires just run to the lights in the middle of the van that don't even work anymore. You see, this blue and brown one. So I'm just gonna take them out. They're in the way. They're not doing anything. And these are annoyingly stuck on with some sort of sticky pad. Look. So I'm just lavering them. Might have to come back with the paint in a minute because I'm obviously scratching the paint off doing this. I've just gone round and painted it all, haven't I? There we go. Then that's starting to look a bit more tidy, isn't it? I know the wires are exposed now, but as I've said, they will be covered up. Only other thing is I don't know what to do about these because they are in the way and I do not want them. I'm pretty sure it's some sort of sensor that's attached to the alarm. I'm assuming so if anyone breaks into the back of the van, this motion detector picks it up and the alarm goes off, right? But I'm going to be in the van at times with the doors locked. So am I going to set these alarms off by being in my own van? Also, they're in the way. What do you think I should do about it? I know there's people out there that know. So please give me some advice on what the hell I'm supposed to do with this. Because there's one this end and one that end. And I do not want them. Now, what is, I think, the last of the small jobs before I get on with a lot of the main things to do is putting a step edge protector on here. Now, obviously, I know that I'm going to have to take this off again when I put down the lino flooring. But I won't be putting that down until towards the end because I figure that's the sensible thing to do. There's going to be all kinds of building going on in here, all kinds of sealant getting splashed around, and you know, I'll just make a mess of the floor after I put it down. So I'll put that down at the end. But until then, because it's going to be months, I'm going to put this on here just to protect this edge because I can't imagine this 10mm plywood being very durable. As you can see, I've already cut it to size because I was going to do this yesterday, but then I found out about that chair and then I ran off to do that and it didn't end up getting done. I was tempted to put some of that strong sealant adhesive stuff on, but remember, I want to be able to take it off again, so I won't be doing that. I'm not confident on how sticky this stuff is, I'll be honest, but we'll find out, won't we? You may think this is a bit pointless, and it probably is, but I'll be honest, one of the reasons is that also I thought it was going to be better when I bought it, and now I've seen it, I don't think I want this on here permanently. So I'm just going to, I've bought it now, so I'm going to use it temporarily, and then I'll get a nicer one when it comes to finish the floor. Most of the silly little jobs that I had to do are done. We need to start thinking about the serious stuff, like battening the walls and the roof so it's ready to install the insulation and then put on all my wood that I'm going to be using to create the log cabin effect on the walls and on the roof. I am going to have to do something because it's a big, obviously this cavity here, which is about 50mm deep-ish, this is going to be full of insulation, and then we're going to put the wall over the top. I've seen people, to conserve space, instead of putting a batten on the outside of this bit, they slot it underneath so that the batten is almost flush with this metal edge instead of sticking out another 25mm. Because especially in a van this size, you kind of want to conserve space as much as you can. So just had a thought, I need to do an experiment. The tallest, I'm 5'11", so the tallest I'm going to be is when I'm wearing my Doc Martin boots, which will put me just over 6 foot, right? And it's my van, so it's not worried about anyone else. And my girlfriend's shorter than me. So, put this batten on. I'm in my DMs, and I have how much space? Because I'm not jumping in here, am I? I have like 2 or 3 inches. And then obviously I'm going to put pallet wood on that, and what's that, like 1/2 inch, maybe. So I'm going to have plenty of headroom if I do batten these, aren't I? And it will give me a stronger base to bolt everything to. So this just measure the space between the top of it here and the bottom of here. So I can put 1 or 2 pieces of batten in this space. Pretty much flush. Well, not quite at all. I might have to do it like that. I'll do it on. That's a better idea, isn't it? I've just had an even better idea because it's flush here, but not here, right? Well, unlike most people, I don't throw away all my offcuts. I've still got some plywood, all the crappy little bits. So if I fit that at this end in between here, now both ends are pretty much flush. You see, by doing this, because this sticks out more here than it does here. Not just a pretty face. Now I've got some self-tapping screws. Right, come on. But now it's pretty much flush, maybe slightly in, but I suppose that's the better option. And when I go across horizontally with the pallet wood to give the log cabin effect, there's going to be a bit more support. Now this bit is more awkward because I haven't, these ones don't stick out as much, and I'm worried that to put the screw in far enough that it's going to hold these, I'm going to end up going through the outer wall of the van. Obviously we do not want that. So I'm going to have to think of something else. It's also a bit deeper. I've come up with this sort of solution. Instead of using plywood underneath, I'll use another piece of batten, and then I think I might try and drill upwards into this and downwards into that, and then maybe use a bit of sealant in between. So I've made this up, and it fits just in here like this, which should bridge the gap. So I have stuck it on with this, with the Sikaflex sealant stuff, but I'm not just trusting that to hold it, so I'm going to still try and put at least 1 screw in either end. So there we go. It's not the most elegant solution, but it's pretty much flush with this outer frame, and it looks like it'll be quite secure. These are going into this, that's going into this, and then plenty of that adhesive. So now it's time to batten the roof. I've done the first one just to see what I was going to do, and I decided to cut it in half so that it would bend, because obviously the roof isn't straight, there's a curve, and I really had to force this to touch in the middle when it was a whole piece. I think it'd just be easier and probably stronger if I just cut it in half and do 2 bits. So it's quite easy really. It's basically 140 centimeters, so a centimeter piece each, and then meet them up like that. Get out of it. Just had a couple of sparrows fighting or whatever they're doing. Started coming in the van. I had to go break it up. So there we go. I've battened the roof. Most of the sort of support framework for when I put what's going to be the walls and the ceiling in is down or up, or it's installed. God, who put this chair in the bloody way? Whose idea was that? Anyway, so I thought I'd just give you all a quick visual idea of how it's going to look. This is not the wood I'm going to use. I haven't cut any pallets up yet. This is probably what I'm going to use for the bed, but just to give you an idea, obviously I will use wood similar to this, like that, literally the whole way up, and then the same on the ceiling. They'll probably be this way and then go the whole way across and try to make it look nice and neat. I'll probably stain it a dark oak stain or something. Maybe I don't want it to be too dark. It will feel dark in here, won't it? Medium oak stain. I just don't want it to be that colour. I want it to look old and aged. You know what I mean? But that's generally what I'm going to do. I just obviously need to now pack these gaps with insulation, and then this will all go on top. I want to make a quick start on the insulation. Now, there's not much I can do until I get paid, I'll be honest. But I do have some of that insulation board, that Certex style stuff left. Problem is, it's only 25 millimeters and I need like 50 mil. But since I'm just using it up, I may be able to just double it up and at least maybe have enough to fill these two cavities on this door, on these doors, and then tape them up with the aluminium tape, the foil tape. And then obviously I've got to take these off, and that's an awkward space in there, so I'll probably just pack it with some sort of soft insulation like that recycled bottle plastic or rock wool or something like that. What I may do is actually use that as the front piece and then stuff loads of offcuts underneath it. And there we have possibly the ugliest ever installation of insulation you've probably ever seen. But it doesn't matter because I'm just using up offcuts, and there we go. And I'll probably put a bit in there and then just tape around the edge, and then there's this panel, still pretty well insulated. There we go. Looks a lot better now it's finished. Not too bad. And once I put the wood across, it will be even more firm. So, I've literally just run out of the aluminium foil tape, which is annoying because I don't have much more to use it for, but I need it. So I'm going to go and get some more. I may make the trip more worthwhile and get some other bits. I might get one roll of that recycled bottled plastic insulation so I can at least finish the door, because I can put it in those little spaces. So I guess you're coming with me on a trip to B&Q.
On the right hand side, you've got the electric ones, or down in 17.
But I suppose I can get a pack of this and start filling all of the awkward spaces. I can do that. Now I've just been directed to the other end of the store from where all the insulation is kept, and they seemed unsure whether or not they'd even have it. They were like, well, if we do have it, it's down there, but I'm not sure, mate. And I'm thinking, surely you would sell the stuff that you need to install the other stuff that you sell. We got lucky. There we go. I'm only going to get a little roll. Well, there we go. £30. So I've got my foil tape so I can finish that panel, and then just one of these bottle plastic insulation rolls. I'm not sure how far this will go, but it was just 20 quid, 23 quid, and I can at least start filling these awkward bits in this door. I think I can at least do that, surely, and then maybe some more of these other ones. I guess the main reason you want this to normally fit really snugly is I think that this foil layer acts like a vapor barrier, but I'm going to be taping over all of this anyway. Oh, come on, look at that. Right, there we go. Annoyingly, that square was not quite big enough for me to even be able to cut this to full size, but I've got as much coverage as I could get. I've just got to plug that bit. Now, I've never used this stuff before, but my friend Kieran, shout out, told me a good tip to cut this. You basically want to put it against a piece of batten and score along it with your knife. The easiest way to cut it. Well, it's not easy, is it? So I didn't really measure this piece up. I just cut a bit off, and I just want to see what happens. So I want to fill the space without sort of squashing it too much. Let's start on this bit. There we are. It's all packed full of this stuff. Packed, but without trying to squash it. And now I've just got to put this back on. So I've had this off, and obviously this is where the door handle mechanism is. So I've been using the screwdriver kind of just to poke it in these little bits, assuming it shouldn't interfere with the door mechanism. We'll find out, won't we? And I'll have to take it out if it does. But I've seen people say that it's actually not necessary to do a lot of these nooks and crannies, but I see why not. I want my van to be warm. So there we are. That's those back doors completely insulated, as well as the sort of frame area around it. And I've got a bit left. So I'm starting to pack it into these awkward areas like these bits, that even if I want to use more insulation board, I'm not going to get it in there. I'm trying not to pack it tightly because again it ruins the insulation properties, but I've got to get it in there. Right, that's it for this time. We got a lot done, especially the star of the show. I've got my chair. Now next time hopefully we will start to insulate the rest of the walls and the roof, and then start to board them up with some pallet wood and give it that log cabin feel, remembering to leave space for the extractor fan and the window. And then after that, start to install the contents, really, like the wood burning stove, of course, and then the essentials like the bed, the kitchen. And I know how I'm doing it in my head. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that jazz. And until next time, see you later.